Hello, I'm SeptumSin, and you're watching SeptumSin versus the World, the Anhedenia project. I'm SeptumSin. Today we are going to be talking about Amityverse. And Evan Jacobs is involved in this anthology feature. If you're looking for me to talk about the other two, I might review the second one, and I might review the third one. That's a big might for the third one. But not on this show, because only one of those three has Evan Jacobs as a director. The other one does have my friend Kyle in it, and does have my feature, which does have Jake in it. But this one has Evan Jacobs in it, and I need to talk about it. So I'm just going to talk about the film as a whole, as we have before. So this Blu-ray comes from SRS. Again, no Anhedenia on demand, but if you like Anhedenia stuff, you should check it out. It is in the link below. $2 a month. Get you all the movies. That's a lot of movies. That's 50-some movies right there. That's a lot right there. That's entertainment for days. Weeks. I don't know how long you go through movies, I don't know. But this Blu-ray has some decent ones. It has a trailer, has a commentary track, and finally closed captions, which is great. I love closed captions. It was good. I watched it with those. That helps. So let's go about this piece by piece. Let's talk about the wraparound first. It starts off pretty good about this announcer in this kind of broken down hallway talking about the next upcoming feature. And then it goes to these black smoky screens where the people who back the film show up and via the ghosts or voices. And then it just ends and goes directly to credits after the last feature. I feel like they could have done better than this. I really do. I feel like they could have at least gone ahead and recorded a final one saying, yeah, well, wait, there's more Amityverse to come, ha 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 ha, and, you know, that sort of thing. But who am I? Who am I really? The acting varies because it's different people involved and varying degrees when you do these paid roles. I'm assuming these are paid roles. I could be wrong. I'm not saying that it's 100% that they're paid roles, but they feel a lot like the paid roles. So, yeah. And then finally, let's see, production design, not much there. I like the hallway in the first shot, but the rest of it's just basically green screen stuff, not really needing a lot of quality, doesn't have a lot. And then finally, the music really didn't have enough in a way that it made me feel I needed to throw in more than just my basic 2 cents. So we got a lot of Amityville to cover, so let's go ahead and get started. So our first film is Amityville Next Door. Don't look at them on the box. The box does not do it right. It just lists them in the wrong order. So this is the actual correct order here. So first start with the Amityville Next Door. Family goes trick-or-treating on Halloween, but the Amityville house comes a-calling. This is one of my favorites. I really think that they put their best foot forward here. I mean, it was kind of creepy. I loved how they included the Amityville house. Only 2 of the ones on here have that going for it. So that's really nice. It's creepy, it's fun, it's a cool little Halloween tale. I think that it's just in general a fun horror short. The acting, passable, works for a micro-budget film. Doesn't take me out of the project. All is good. Production was actually pretty good. I liked that that where they isolated off that kind of like orange room where they had this bloody well in the center. I thought that was pretty cool. Costume design was cool. Some of the blood effects were pretty decent. I thought that overall it was a pretty interesting effects run. Enough that it really gets the job done for a short. And finally, the music and sound effects, they did their job. They didn't need to overstay their welcome because it's not a long thing. So they did good enough here. Now, one of the first directors I actually do recognize fully is Blaze Tudor, because I work with his father a lot when it comes to these types of things. Matter of fact, you could see Cody in Amityville Webcam. And I want to say Amityville Estate Sale as well, if you go watch Amityville Apocalypse. So this one has a couple of friends that get stranded without gas, so they go to an abandoned looking campsite, but unluckily for them, a killer clown is making it his home. I thought the short was good. I think it gets the point well. It's a nice little bloodthirsty short, and that's all really there is to it. But what there isn't to it is a link to Amityville, to my knowledge. The acting is fine. They do a good enough job to get the point across. Production design, also fine. I like the blood effects a lot. The whole tongue-ripping thing, it was pretty good. They have some good effects work here. I think that there's definitely a future there, to be sure. Very good for micro-budget horror. And for the music, there's not much well in the music. Some background tunes that were playing on the radio were fun, but, nothing huge. Next up is Scamityville, where a TikTok guy gets a spoon from Amityville to prove it's a scam. Or is it? This one is directly connected to Amityville in some way. I think that it's fun to keep doing the cursed items from the house. I mean, it's one of the easiest way to connect to Amityville. I used it several times in my film, so I can't really blame them for it. Acting was pretty good. It's good to see him the main guy go down to madness as it goes on, so it's kind of cool. It works well for production. Nothing over the top, but did its job. I thought that the only thing that bothers me is the vertical shots, but it's supposed to be a TikToker, so that's what they do. Music, not really enough to make a point. Alright, one of the more amusing ones. Skeleton Cop goes to Amityville. Skeleton Cop takes on the Amityville house. This comes across as strange 70s cop show, like Shaft, but with Skeleton Cop. The flow of this is a little bit slow, a little bit disjointed, but otherwise I think the premise is hilarious. I like the haunted Amityville house, and stuff like the singing ghosts and stuff like that. I thought were really cool. I thought that was fun. And I just like how you just go around blowing everybody away. That was really cool as well. I think, like I say, there's a part of me that just loves that whole package together. Skeleton Cop is great. He needs his own series. He might have his own series, and I just don't know about it. Kind of reminds me of this. There was another group that used it, and there's a Krampus short, and there's another one with this about these guys who they're kind of brought back from the dead, and one guy's like a human that's brought back from the dead, the other guy's like a skeleton. It's kind of fun that way. The acting was okay. It works, and it's pretty smooth and enjoyable. Production design is a mixed bag. There are a few times where I see them get careless. There was one scene where I saw them keep going after the music cut off and just the sound cut off for a full couple of seconds. Then there was a time where you see the skeleton firing, but it's actually a real hand firing, not in the skeleton's hand. So there's a couple of things here and there, but nothing major. Pretty good overall. Like the effects, like the green screen used. Liked a lot of the just in general. The music is probably by far the best in this entire film. This is 70s cop show, but Skeleton Cop themed. That is hilarious to me. This is glorious. It's one step away from me wanting to have it on its own as a feature film. It really is. And this one, I think I'd actually almost get a CD of Skeleton Cop's soundtrack if we had more of this kind of weird stuff. So, Amityville Mime. A man talks to his AI therapist about his troubles as he is being tracked by an evil mime. Well, the first problem is he's using an AI therapist, and no, bad, don't do that. And I must admit, I've used this myself when it comes to directing Amityville and webcam estate sale, the whole haunted thing. I mean, technically Amityville Axe is also a haunted object, but he's more sentient, and he's a decent guy. I'll say it's a cheap writing hack, but, I used it too. We all use it. The mime is a bit creepy, though, and that's pretty fun. Well, it comes that music box they got in the mail. Never opened anything from Amityville. The acting, however, is fine. It's more than passable in some ways, just passable in others. Production design, also pretty decent. I liked having multiple locations. That takes a lot of guts, especially if you're doing guerrilla filmmaking. Not sure if they are or not, but probably, because it's micro budget. And the mime costume was fairly decent for a demonic mime. You know how it is. Music. Well, music was meh. Yeah, pretty much. Alright, Amityville Lawn Flamingo. I don't have a lot to say about this, but this is another one of those cursed items about a cursed lawn flamingo that was on Amityville Lawn, and this man trying to hunt down and exorcise the demons within. This one's very short. The flamingo basically starts attacking him, maybe possessing him, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to eat it. I need to spend more amount of time thinking about that. It's just kind of weird. This whole weird flamingo eating thing, I wonder if real flamingos are tasty. Odd thoughts. The acting, well, it's a silent film. The actor involved did an okay job with it. The expressions were good, and I felt it was fairly solid. I didn't get confused as far as what he was doing, other than whether he was eating or exercising or what to the flamingo. I still don't quite get that. But otherwise, yes, it was pretty good. And there were not a ton of effects on this. Mainly, you've got like the default filter in there to make it look older, and there were certain other things. I did like the flamingo look, and I liked the lineup of flamingos that they had, but otherwise, it was fairly cheap overall. The music here, also pretty basic. I feel it worked a little, but really is lacking in its simple nature. So, finally, we get to Evan Jacobs with Amityville Death Toilet Reprise. So, this one has the victim of the Death Toilet movie, the Death Toilet, Amityville Death Toilet, not just any. And he not only lived, but he's recovering. Got his hands chopped off, but they're back on again, so they can go chopped off again. He gets just disturbed by how much people like the Amityville Death Toilet, and eventually we even see involvement from the rest of the Death Toilet universe. Maybe we'll see Potty Mouth or involved in one of these Amityville Death Toilet movies. I really like the kind of 60s Batman aesthetic that the later Death Toilet movies have gotten. The acting here was very fun. Main character was stuck in a wheelchair, didn't speak much, but what he did say really mattered, and I thought that he did an amazing job. The production value was actually made intentionally poor. I mean, his hands cut off, yet still his hands are on him, so he got his hands on the floor, but he's using his hands later to hold up his legs when they get cut off. Get regenerating hands there. And then, of course, there was the mannequin head, and I like that one also. The mannequin head was hilarious. I think it's a nice little film that kind of connects the two universes and makes them one. So I'm guessing that they are in the same universe, and that's canon in that way. The music is really good. It fits the film. Not quite something I would pay for, but definitely something that I am glad to have. Alright. Amityville. When closing a clothing store at the mall, a mysterious stranger asks to try something on last minute. This goes with that haunted burial ground stuff and don't trust a stranger stuff. And a little bit of alien stuff in between. It's probably not aliens, probably just Amityville ghosts, but still. It's kind of creepy the way they do it, and especially creepy at the end. The acting was good. Nothing more to say. Fairly high profile as far as production design. I mean, the mall is an expensive place to film in unless you know someone. Or doing guerrilla filmmaking, which it could be either. I don't know who or what did that. Let's see here. Cat distraction. So, otherwise I thought it was good, especially like this end where you see kind of a shifting of skin, which is kind of weird. Kind of gives me Men in Black vibes, I guess. The music, it was there, somewhat. Pretty good. Wasn't enough to make it go like, oh man, it's gotta be gone. No, but it's okay. Amityville Killer. Father and daughter break down in the middle of the woods. Father comes into some sort of ghost that makes his blood run cold. This was reasonably well paced. It doesn't feel too slow. It plays out simply as a simple possession flick, and it works like a simple possession flick, and it does its job like that. And the acting was pretty good for this. There were some awkward delays at times, but otherwise the scenes went by very smoothly. I mean, here it was just fake blood and contact lenses. So, you know, it's that. There's a little bit of blood here and there. And I like the background. I think the woods is a great place. You got woods near your house. You could probably shoot there, and there's not too much difficulty. So that makes it pretty cool right there. Music, it did what it needed to. Did the job. That's all I ask for you, music. Last but not least, Amityville Murder Hammer. This man listened to Amityville podcast in the Amityville house, with which you can tell he's moved in not long ago. He's got stuff covered, and this is a pretty good writing. I think I like it that when you put the stuff in the Amityville house, I like that there's sort of an interaction with maybe the curse with the murders and stuff like that, but also the idea of ghostly revenge. So some fun stuff throughout the whole thing, and then they toss in the interactions with the kid as well as a way of distracting. Acting was pretty good for what was there. I mean, nothing huge, but definitely did its job. No problems. Production is where this kind of shined the most. A lot of good splatter and blood. I love the kill rooms. I loved all the rooms in the Amityville house. I just think it all works so well together, and it all comes together well as far as visuals are concerned. And finally, the music was okay. Nothing to go wild over, but okay. In the end, this is a fairly good anthology feature. There are no shorts that I looked at and found that were fully lacking. And the overall quality was pretty straight across fine. Kind of makes me worry about how mine stacks up against some of the other players coming to the second one. But we'll see. We will see. Bye-bye.
SeptumSin versus the world. It's that place for all the boys and girls. You'll feel real you'll feel real warm. It's a cozy place to ride out the storm. SeptumSin! SeptumSin and his best boy Jake see the trends that scare us every day. Physical media is going to the side. Doctor streaming will rule the world in time.